In July of 2015, the University of Akron made the decision to cut their baseball program as a means of an overall budget reduction. The cutting of the baseball program caught many people in the Akron community by surprise. But last September, University President Matthew Wilson, along with Athletic Director Larry Williams, announced that the university plans to bring back the baseball team, along with the addition of women's lacrosse. We had the chance to sit down with Athletic Director Larry Williams and talk about the reason why the university planned to bring back the baseball team, along with adding women's lacrosse.
Yeah, prior to my arrival, the institution, University of Akron, made a decision to cut baseball, and it really did affect the community deeply. It was a financial decision. It wasn't a performance decision, but it still was very difficult for the community to embrace. We, over the course of the last 2 years, my entire tenure here, really did feel that on a almost daily basis, if not daily, at least weekly, we would hear a consistent refrain, "Oh, why did you drop baseball? Why couldn't you figure out a way to keep it?" And I really didn't have a response. But we've been working behind the scenes for quite some time now, trying to understand how we might be able to do it in a very fiscally responsible way. President Wilson and I and others, including some members of the administration and board, have really spent a lot of time considering different aspects of sponsoring a program: costs, potential revenues, recognition of other values. And it was through the course of that, I'll call it due diligence, it was very clear that it makes a lot of sense to sponsor sports in this manner. And one only needs to look at Division II or Division III to recognize that, wow, wait a minute, the sports are really an enhancement to the university's bottom line, even though those particular benefits may not accrue to the athletics budget. They still accrue to the overall budget of the institution, and Division II and Division III have made a living on that very concept. Well, women's lacrosse is an interesting one because if you're in the sports world, you know that everyone talks about the growth of the game of lacrosse, especially on the female side. And so, number one, we heard that message from folks within the sporting world. We also heard it from potential parents that say, "Wow, if you ever sponsored women's lacrosse, boy, we'd love to be considered, because we have our daughter is growing up through the club system and the high school system, and we'd love for her to play at University of Akron, or consider the University of Akron." And so, ears perk up when we hear those kind of things. But then we also considered it in light of the fact that we have a beautiful stadium in Infocision Stadium that is used largely in the fall and very lightly in the spring. And so this gives us an opportunity to put that facility to further use in months that it otherwise was not used. And so it fit. A lot of things fit about women's lacrosse.
Director Williams goes on to add that the funding of the two teams will come from the community.
Well, yeah, now that's certainly our hope, is that the community will participate in the funding. The university will incur a lot of responsibility relative to the funding of these programs. The participation of the community is really going to dictate how successful we are. We know we're going to be successful. We're going to graduate, educate and graduate really good student athletes, we will be that much better if we can get the participation of our community, that community that's spoken so loudly at the loss of baseball, and are so excited about the re-engagement of the baseball program. We look forward to participation of any kind at any level.